Hi 8th graders, welcome to our second video lesson. Today we are going to be covering lesson 9.1.2, and the focus of this lesson is this one theorem or rule. It is the angle sum theorem of triangles, and it states that the three interior angles of a triangle have a sum of 180 degrees. So if we take a look at this example triangle, you could see the angles are numbered, angle 1, 2, and 3. And the angle sum theorem just states if we take the measure of angle 1 and we add it to the measure of angle 2 and add that to the measure of angle 3, all three interior angles will always add up to 180 degrees. And that is true for any type of triangle. Acute triangles, obtuse triangles, right triangles, isosceles triangles, any type of triangle that is true for. So we're just going to work through a few example problems using the angle sum theorem. Example 1. Let's sketch a triangle, and I'm going to tell you my disclaimer, which is these triangles are not drawn to scale. I'm just going to draw a triangle and label angles with different degree measures that will not look like their labels. So we have a 115 degree angle, a 30 degree angle, and an angle X whose measure is unknown. So to use the triangle angle sum theorem, we're going to find the measure of angle X. So we know that X would equal 180 degrees minus the other two angle sums. If we added 115 plus 30, so X will equal 180 minus 145, and we find that X will be equal to 35 degrees. Simple as that. Let's switch colors for example 2. On example 2, we're actually not given any numbers for the measures of our angles. All we know is that each angle is labeled Y. That means all three angles have the same measure. If we added all three angles together, they would have to equal 180 degrees. Combine your like terms and solve the equation. And we discover that Y has a measure of 60 degrees. Okay, let's move on to example 3. Okay, in this triangle, we are told that this angle right here, I'm going to label it on the outside, is X degrees. And this angle in the lower left corner is 2x degrees. And the final angle has a measure of 30 degrees. We need to find how many degrees X is and how many degrees 2x is. So to set up our equation, we have 2x plus x plus 30 equals 180 degrees. Okay. Let's solve that equation. Combine like terms. Subtract 30 from each side. divide each side by 3. And we find that the angle labeled x has a measure of 50 degrees. But remember, we also have to find the measure of angle 2x. So if we just multiply 50 times 2, we find that the angle labeled 2x degrees is actually a measure of 100 degrees. Moving on to example 4. For example 4, we are going to be working with a triangle that looks like this. And we are told that the measure of this bottom angle is x degrees, and this top left is x plus 10 degrees, and that's all the information that we are given. So we need to recognize this symbol here that's telling us that this is a 90 degree or a right angle. So let's add up our 3 angles. X plus 10 plus 90 equals 180 degrees. Okay? Now, if you'd like to pause the video and solve this on your own, you can do that. It would be a good time for you to just hit the pause button. Okay, let's go through these steps and see how you did. Combine like terms. Subtract 100 from each side. And divide by 2. We find that x equals 40. So this angle right here, labeled x, has a measure of 40 degrees. This angle right here has a measure of 50 degrees. Okay, that's the end of our video lesson. Let's talk about tomorrow's homework assignment that's on the calendar that you can find on my webpage. Tomorrow's assignment on the calendar is Review Preview Problem 9-21 only, and that is if you completed the other Review Preview problems before spring break. Many of you have done that and submitted copies or pictures of your work to me by email. So for those of you who did your work before spring break, you only have one Review Preview problem to complete. The rest of you who did not submit your work to me before spring break need to complete the entire Review Preview, which is 921 through 926. Remember now that I would like you to submit your work to me at the end of each week, and this is all listed on the calendar on my teacher webpage. Thanks. Have a great day.